Hi, everyone. Welcome to our June 2024 Ask the Expert interview series. Today, we're happy to have Chuck Carlson and Gary Logan, both members of our USA-Canada Leadership Forum host committee. So we are talking to them today about the upcoming event and the needs that we have to prepare for that event. It is, as we are recording this, we are exactly 3 months away from the big event. So 3 months from now, we'll be right in the middle of it in downtown Louisville, at the Kick Center, at the Galt House, and the surrounding hotels. So we're looking forward to it. For anyone who isn't aware, KLAF came on as a sponsor. So we're a proud supporter of the event and happy to be a part of it, and looking forward to working with all of our great Lions and volunteers throughout the state. So we are going to focus today mostly on how you all can help and how you can get involved in the event. So thank you, Gary, and thank you, Chuck, for coming on with me today.
Well, thank you for having us, Jennifer. We appreciate the effort that you put forward, and thank KLEF for coming up as a sponsor for having the event in our little hometown of Louisville. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to add my thanks to that too. Thank you, Jennifer and KLEF, and thanks to every person that's volunteered and everyone that's going to volunteer between now and then.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to be a part of it. Like you said, it is in our backyard. We're happy to be able to showcase what our Kentucky Lions are doing throughout the state to our visitors that are coming from all over. So we're excited for that. I think we all know that volunteers are our biggest need in any of our work. And that is true with this event as well. So how many volunteers in total are we kind of looking for to help with this event?
We estimate 200 is a good number. There'll be some people that will come in for the whole day, so we've cut out some, that maybe it's a double shift. They might work both shifts. So 200 probably on a rotating type of a basis, that we'll need. Once the event starts, the biggest concern will be during the meals and stuff at the Kick Center. We'll need probably 40 or 50 will be on hand during that whole time, but the rest are, sporadically through each day, different people.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking before this that we have about 40 on a list that have signed up through the registration through the volunteer registration form.
Right.
So to volunteer, you don't necessarily have to be registered to attend the forum. There are opportunities available that you don't have to be registered, but you do need to submit the volunteer form so that we have all of your contact information, all that stuff. So we've received about 40 of those forms.
40 that have registered that they filled out at the same time. The rest, like you said, you mentioned about, it would be a lot of sit-down positions for people locally in there, Lions Club that want to go, a club that wants to have 3 or 4 people can come. They can sit at the Galt House, and there'll be as a welcome committee. They'll pass out and welcome people in. They'll pass out badges and things of that nature at all the 5 hotels. We need people at the airport to be sitting behind a booth. So if somebody comes down out of the check-in station, and they'll be able to direct them to taxis and things of that nature. We do need probably about, 15, 20 people that can transport our past international presidents, our sitting board members, that we need to have their transportation from the airport to the Galt House. They all go to this Galt House. And so we'll need them to and fro. So there's plenty of positions for people that don't feel the need or have other commitments, can't make some of the dinners or the classes, which are great, but they can at least help out. And like I say, we're coming to Kentucky. This is what we want. We want Kentuckians to welcome all these people from around the world, and mainly from Canada and the United States.
And those volunteers, I think Chuck covered it, but just in case people didn't hear right, they can be just for a few hours. They could be for half a day. They could volunteer for every day. That doesn't mean they'd be used all 24 hours a day, but they're allowed to give their preferences on the application. And we appreciate if they would tell us what their preferences were so we can line them and make sure we have the right people for the right slots.
Yes. And so people at home can see, I'm going to share on our screen the volunteer application, just so we can go through that, because it has some good information on it. And so this form can be found on the Lions Forum website. It can also be found on the MD43 website. And Gary and Chuck, can you all see it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And so this is the form that we are discussing. This is what needs to be submitted if you are interested in volunteering. So we just need some basic information from you, contact information, and then it has days that you can sign up for, and it has specific jobs if you are interested. If you don't have a preference, you can just select here anywhere as needed. So you can select which day you would like to volunteer for. So if you come in early, want to get in on Wednesday, it has the different jobs that are available on that day. So you can be an airport greeter, like they mentioned, help set up the peace poster display, help with the host committee office, help with the pin trader setup. Exhibitors will also be setting up that day. So I know KLEF will be setting up our booth that day. We could use some help there probably. And then on Thursday, you can help prepare hospitality baskets, the forum store setup. Actually, this is probably all on
Could you,
Wednesday.
if you could go check, if you could, can you check on like airport greeter right now?
Mhm.
Okay, so airport greeter, you don't need, you don't have to be registered. If you
Right.
go over on the prepare the hospitality baskets on the right side, you check and
Mhm.
let people know these are jobs that you don't registration back, the packets right there. Registration, you could, because that's technically there's at the most of the hotels
That'd
on
be at the
Wednesday and
hotel.
Thursday. That'd be, and then at the Kick Center would be on after Thursday if somebody comes in. So those are jobs that are sit down, a lot of sit down jobs at the airport, sitting down, welcoming people, directing them, like I mentioned earlier. But this kind of gives you an idea what you want. So if somebody has just signs up, they're not registered, we're going to try to put them at these positions. And if they cannot be and do that, we also on there, there's drivers are a little different. So we'll look at people that can drive some people back and forth from the airport. Only going to be the executive officers. There's probably about 70 to 75 people that we will Lions people that we're going to be picking up and transporting to and from.
And one thing I want to note here is there are two little stars here that say seated jobs.
Right.
So some of these, would offer some seated jobs, but registration is one that you'll definitely be seated at a table to check people in. So if you have someone in a wheelchair that's wanting to volunteer or someone that just can't stand for long periods, this would be a good spot for them to volunteer.
It's also that there's some people that sit there and say, well, I've got a daughter coming in, like say if my daughter would come down, she's not a Lions member, but she's more than happy to stand next to me if I'm volunteering. So bring, I think age wise is however the person would be. Now my child quite old, but you might have my granddaughter, she's 16 or 17, very good. She could probably sit there and do, because smiling faces is what you need, and
Yes.
excited to have people coming into Kentucky. So there's plenty of things that can be that are sit down jobs, and that with non-Lion or family members that you can bring with you.
Mhm.
Especially people, our Lions that are in the Louisville area, it's not a long drive to come downtown, bring a couple of friends, bring kids, grandkids, because you're familiar with the area. So if you get the question of, what's the closest place to eat? That there's a Subway down on 8th Street, and can be helpful in that way. So if anybody local is available to help, that's good. Obviously, we're taking people from all over. We've had people from other states sign up to volunteer that are coming in for the forum and just want to give a couple of hours of their day to volunteer. And that's perfectly fine as well. You don't have to know the lay of the land, but it is helpful some. And this form, I just want to note that you can go in and you can type on this form. You can type the information, you can, click the days and the different places that you're interested in volunteering. And what you will need to do to submit it is you will need to, I'm gonna probably do this in a different way than most people would, but I would like, for me, it's the easiest to hit print and then save it as a PDF, and that way it saves all of the information that you have put in. So if I save it as a PDF, then it downloads it for me. And I'll put in my name here to make it different. And then I'm gonna go to my email, attach that form that I just saved and send it to this address.
The volunteer, right?
Because it's not something that there's a submit button on the bottom and it's gonna send it all the information to us. And then if you don't save it, you go back to it later, all of your information may be cleared out.
Yeah.
So you just want to be able to,
Save it.
and you can print this, print a physical paper and then scan it in,
Okay.
email it that way, or take a photo of it and email that photo to us. Lots of different ways to do it, but that's kind of trick, I guess, and it may hold some people up.
Right.
Because if you don't save it, come back to it, your information's likely to be gone if you let it sit there long enough. So, but
And I would
anything-
like to add, if you don't mind, that
Yeah.
if you're if you have someone that's going to be a first time attendee, they want to volunteer, let them volunteer some, but tell them that they need to attend the sessions because they are the best sessions in the world for helping new people, new officers, new Lions learn what Lionism is about and what's expected. So do volunteer as much as you can. I'm not trying to talk you out of volunteering, but I am saying that if you're registered for it, you have to be registered to do any of the volunteering for anything inside the Kick Center. So if you're registered, you should spend a part of your time, or maybe a good part of your time, most of it, actually attending the conference, the forum.
And also on a add to that, if you are registered and you are part and you have a class, as you see when you get there and you look at the packet that you really want to go to, we don't want people not to go to a training. So we'll try to find somebody to relieve you. If you happen to be helping down at the KLEF booth and you need a class to see at 11 o'clock, we're going to try to make sure we have somebody there to replace you so you can go to the class that you've chosen to go. Because that's one of the big reasons to host a forum is the number of classes and seminars that you go in there. And just by listening, you're going to pick some stuff up. Participating, you're going to pick a lot of stuff up. The only ones that probably might not be on here anywhere needed. Is there a way to type into a blank spot, Karen, on there, or Jennifer?
I think so.
Like if underneath Pinterest, if you can write there, say, airport transportation. I'm due for new glasses, so I'm kind of.
No, it won't let you type in.
Okay, won't let you type in there. Okay, but anybody's listening to this, we'll be able to sit there. If you do go under and put anywhere needed, we'll, if it's blank, we'll go ahead and we'll try to get a hold, because we are going to try to get a hold of those people that specifically have a car that they'll be able to help somebody with some luggage. You're going to be like a driver and a porter at the time. So, but there's plenty of those doing. That's a really neat thing to see your executive officers coming in to welcome them, and ride them to the airport, and they'll all stay at the Galt House. So it's just airport to the Galt House, back to the airport, make 3 or 4 or 5 trips, whatever. It's just not that hard of a day.
All right, so I will exit out of this form here. Right. So we've kind of gone over this, but you don't have to be registered for the forum to volunteer unless you are volunteering within the KIC Center.
in the kick
To
center.
get in the KIC Center, you will have to have a badge, a lanyard, and that is given to all people that have registered to attend the event. We've gone over, we have volunteer positions for people who can stand all day. We have the Strides Walk going on. We'll need volunteers to help with that. And then we have positions for people that need to be seated for the most of the time.
At the Strides Walk, and that could be some of the people that are outside the hotel that aren't going into KIC Center, that just stopping people maybe on 3rd, blocking the traffic light. You won't have to register there. You just have a little flag and waving them. We might have somebody outside the Galt House. That's a beautiful day to say, okay, turn left, walk up this little hill. The KIC Center's up here a couple blocks. So there's plenty of jobs available. Majority, the biggest thing is going to be at the Galt House, setting up, packing the things, getting the baskets ready, getting all those things together. And like I said, it could be on a Monday before the forum starts. It could be a Tuesday, but there are plenty of positions, and we need it. Ideally, these should be our local Lions in the state of Kentucky would be a little bit better. Now we're going to have people from elsewhere, but it'd be really a nice feather in our cap that if somebody comes out after this is all over to say, boy, there was a zillion people from Kentucky that were very welcoming. Wear your vest, it's very casual, sit down. A lot of those jobs, it's just friendly, just like if you open up your front door and you say, come on in. That's what we're asking.
That's right. And people to smile are definitely welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a deadline for people to sign up to volunteer, or are we just right up to end of August, early September? If you decide to volunteer, let us know.
You decide to volunteer, you can get volunteer. We will probably have a deadline for people that want to volunteer to transport people from the airport. The executives will probably have to have that to our contact at the airport so that he can get that list together. So that's probably, I would say, by September 1st, something of that nature. If somebody wants to sign up and says, hey, look, and I've come all of a sudden, I'm free on Thursday. Oh, sign up. You can sign up Wednesday, because that list should be going to Gary. Should be getting a list of that stuff. Gary is our manpower person. So, Steve Peterson will be taking charge of at the airport, getting people back and forth and having enough people there so that, and there'll be plenty of numbers and lists around that if somebody sees somebody, that's kind of the other thing. If you've not been to a forum or something big like this, they're going to see you maybe with some of the shirts that the planning committee and the host committee are wearing, similar to what Jennifer has on. They're going to see that. They're going to say, oh, I can ask that person. They're supposed to know. So be knowledgeable. The airport greeters that they're there will have to be able to show, hey, where they're going, where you're going to go, taxis over here, go up there, that kind of things. Like I say, some people I know, I landed once and there was somebody, I asked somebody, well, where's this place to eat? And they said, I don't know. I live 500 miles from here. Okay. So, you will run across that, but most of the people, like I said, it'd be neat if, we should get some local people to come in. Like, hey, I can come in Wednesday for 4 hours. I come in Thursday for 4 hours, come Friday. That's fine. So that's why I say the number of 200 might not be 200 individual names. It might be 200 positions we need filled. Maybe that's the way to say it.
Kind of 200 shifts.
200 shifts. And like I said, there might be some people, because the hotels are not all like the Galt House, the biggest one, but some are coming from the Holiday Inn. We might have somebody positioned just waving a flag, it's before the opens up to get people directions, and we'll
at least the first day. At least the first day.
First day, because you're at the airport, so somebody's gonna say, okay, you're at the hotel Galt House, turn left, go up here, that kind of stuff.
Right.
If someone has any questions, who should they reach out to for more information? Just email the volunteer
Yeah,
email?
we haven't put a list. I'd probably be if it's something that I mean, anybody can email me, and we'll have a list. They'll be at the Kick Center. There's going to be, of course, there's going to be a host office. There'll be a planning office, things of that nature. But if it's somebody that needs to say and they forget, Gary will have a big master list
Yeah.
of where they are. If somebody says, "Hey, listen, I'm finished here. What else?" And Gary said, "Oh, well, by the way, up here you can go here." Steve Peterson would be taking charge of the airport drivers and the people at the airport. So we will probably put out an information once we have all listed. We'll get that to anybody that's volunteered. We'll have that. There'll probably be little cards. Anybody's picking up somebody, they'll have that person's name. So if my job is to pick up Gary, Gary's got my cell phone. He knows, hey, I've landed. I'm going to pick up my bags. I'll come out of the cell top place, the parking lot, and come up and be there ready to pick him up. We'll have a little placard on there knowing that this is the car. I don't want somebody getting in the wrong car. You got a lot of people that were uncomfortable getting in the car if they don't have like an Uber sign. So we'll have little signs made that will be there that says, "Hey, I'm a Lion transporter." The only thing is, just like anybody, you don't want somebody, if you're supposed to be transporting an individual, an executive, we're not transporting everybody. We just, couldn't do that. So those are things like that. But the list, we'll have it compiled. We meet again. I meet with the planning committee the end of July, 17th, 18th. So the timeline and a lot of any other questions should be answered. Then we'll be ready to put some paperwork out with a list of what's going on.
They can always send it to me. They can send it to you and you can forward it to us,
Right.
Jennifer.
Okay. I'll send volunteer KY forum at gmail.com
Mhm.
is the email that all of the volunteer sign up sheets go
Right.
to.
Yes.
So if anyone has questions about specifics like now or leading up to the event, they can reach out to volunteer KY forum at gmail.com for any questions.
Any questions? And then if it might be, "Hey, I forgot what I signed up for," or something, or "I got this," or "What about this? I signed up for here. I can give you 3 more hours." So yes. And then that information would go, because Gary gets that list. He gets all those, and he can forward that to somebody else. Somebody asks about an airport question. Well, then they can get that to me, or we can get that to Steve Peterson.
Yeah.
We'll
Get
have
it
that.
where it
We'll have a
goes.
list
We'll go.
to get it forward out. Right.
We just work together as a team
Yep.
and we'll get through this and be a bright spot for Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Like I say, I think we're ahead of the game. Other than some volunteers, everything else is in great looking shape. I'll know more, like I said, after this next meeting in July, and then that means we're going to be only like 5 weeks away after that meeting. So hopefully we'll have a lot more volunteers once this gets posted. We will be sending out an individual letter asking for send it to different clubs. So we'd ask so that we kind of get a little bit more personal. Instead of, in case somebody loves to watch these things, these Ask the Interviewer, they're kind of neat to watch these little things that are put together. But sometimes we send a note to an email to the club, or we visit. We'll be able to get a little bit more people.
Yeah, I figure once the new officers get installed, then we'll send letters to the new officers.
Yes. And we'll be bringing this up. I know we'll have Kelly F on the 20th. We have the 27th. We have a council, and it looks like August 3rd and 10th, we have our cabinet meeting. So we'll really be pumping at that time again. And we might have some blank forms. Somebody wants to sign up. We'll have some blank forms, things of that nature. We'd be willing to get in and get people and names and all.
Yeah. And for clubs, let's see. What's the deadline to register? I should have looked this up before, for the forum, to attend the forum.
I never knew there was a cutoff. I've had people register. I have somebody come in at the airport and register that day.
Okay.
So because Jerry will be there, I'll I don't have a deadline. I know it keeps going. It goes up at certain periods, which we've already done. We just went up again. It probably one more time, I believe. I didn't bring that stuff with me either. Um, I don't think there's any time
I
too
don't
late.
think they've ever cut it off. I think they allow
They have
people to
not.
register it at the registration desk.
Yeah, I've had people come in and look, say, I don't have my packet. How do I register? I've had that before. You know, we're in
Mhm.
Calgary. That's somebody get, you know, so
Yeah.
ideally it's better to have be sooner. You know, if it's two people, you might have one person might be one color, one person be the other, you know, that kind of stuff for where there's seating table. But there's plenty of neat jobs to have. Like I said, it's just that you have to remember, like we've been working on this for quite a few years. COVID, of course, affected us for the 2020, but got a good group of Lions behind me that are willing to step up to the plate, are doing a fantastic job. Like I say, the important people that we do, that's the important part when we're asking for volunteers is when they can, is the date they can, because packing gifts are only going to be on one day. And then the airport's going to be 2 days, you know, that kind of stuff. So there's plenty of days. So hopefully people see this and we'll be getting all kind of emails.
That's right.
And so it looks like the next time the price goes up is July 31st. So
Right.
For Kentucky Lions, I guess just kind of give one more push of why Lions should be considering attending this event. You mentioned seminars earlier. There's over 75 seminars
Mhm.
available. What are
And
some other
networking
things
is
that,
really great. They'll end up learning as much from the other lines that they network with, that they meet. They've never met before, but they get started in conversations. They'll learn so much more than they can imagine.
There'll also be, you got your forum store, which a lot of people volunteer for, and they like that. There's the forum store, which is going to have a lot of articles and stuff that they want to buy, maybe a little bit more than what I bring around to everybody in Kentucky. But there's all kind of, there's an exhibitors booth. Come in and look at all the exhibitors booth. Come and stop at the Kelly F booth. Pin traders. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can make a whole day of it. It's like window shopping, you know, it's a kind of a neat thing. The seminars, they range from simple little things, how to have fun, to big major things like, you know, maybe meeting an ID, times you want to get there, just walking around and you can walk right up. They said, hey, I'd really like to meet, you know, Patty Hill, you know, our current president, Dr. Patty Hill, she'll be there, you know, Fabricio, the incoming president. I mean, they're all going to be kind of available. They understand this. The thing that's neat about the forum, we're really not doing any politics with it. It's just kind of here at a good time. So it's a friendship time, networking, like Gary said. You might find somebody when you're in a session and you see, hey, this speaker, I really like that speaker. Well, maybe that's an international director that you might want to invite to come to Kentucky. You know, so there's all kind of neat things to have, and it's important that we solicited the Lions forum, that we wanted to hold a forum in Louisville. And we went through a lot of stuff to get the first one in 2020, but we all know what happened there. So now they gave us back at 24. It might be the last time, probably last time in my lifetime, it's going to be back in Kentucky. It usually goes 10, 15 years, but they were so well, you know, like that's one of the things we got to think about. We've asked to have this. We've asked to host this. We've put a lot of time and effort. Now we just need some fellow Lions from Kentucky to step up and kind of have her, because the hardest work is pretty much going to be completed by the time you get there. So all you got to have is a smiling face and shaking the hands and having a good time. And that's kind of what we need. That's the volunteers I'm looking for that have other stuff to do and can't make the meals or don't have the desire to look at a seminar. But if you want to welcome somebody to Kentucky, there's plenty of positions available that you can do that.
and I'm just looking at the seminars list, there's all kinds of things. I'm helping promote some of these, and we're going to be sharing that on social media soon, but there's a seminar about becoming an ID. There's a seminar about using Canva to market your club. There's one about cyber clubs, eyeglass recycling, fundraising, the different global causes that LCI supports. There's one on hosting a forum. So if other clubs in other areas are interested in maybe hosting a forum in the future, there's one specifically about Kentucky tornado relief. So that might be an interesting one to sit in on and see all of the work that we locally have put into the tornado relief. There's several for Leo's. There's one for Lions Quest. I knew that's a new focus here in parts of the state. So there's a couple on Lions Quest. There's one about Melvin Jones and what he might think of Lions today. There's meeting icebreakers, orientation to new members, recruiting, sponsorships, team well-being, women and young people membership development. There's even a Zumba class on here.
Yeah,
So
there is.
there's something for everybody.
There's
And
some of the LCIF has some stuff in there, how to form, get it if you're not a 501c3 already, how to do that. I mean, this is a learning experience that's usually put together. Usually it's a fun experience. The classes are, I mean, it's like you're excited once you get your pamphlet, you start going through and you start checking off, I want to go to this one, want to go to that one. And I got to emphasize again, anybody that's volunteering, that is going to do working for us, if you have in mind, don't hold your breath. If you say, hey, I really want to go see this thing, I down here to how to young women and women and young adults, we will get you there. We will replace you. Have somebody take that if you have that spot. Don't feel obligated that you can't go because you're working a booth or sitting there at a registration desk.
as long as you're registered for the forum.
As long as you're registered for the forum. Yes, that's what I say. If you're registered for the forum and you've paid your registration fee and you've got your stuff like that, you're more, yes, that's the ultimate goal. See as many of those you can, because there's plenty of jobs other times during the day that you can work.
And so there's a little over 1,500 registered to attend right now.
That'll probably go up.
Yeah, that will go up, and that's just a large group to be a part of. And it was, I've only been to one, and it was the one in Ohio a few years ago, but it was a good learning experience, just getting to be around everybody. It seems every Lions Club has similar problems, similar successes, and it's just being able to talk with other people and learn how they're handling situations is a good opportunity.
And good ideas, because the more people you get, the more ideas are there. And there'll be ideas you've never thought of. But it would be good.
It is. They do have a lot of like Gary said, I think the networking, you can't imagine you're networking if you're just sitting down grabbing a hot dog with someone. I mean, it's just seriously, maybe you're not at a class. If you're walking through and you see somebody in the exhibitor hall, you're walking through as you're standing in line at the forum store, you're going to see somebody. So a lot of the first couple days is, meeting old friends that you have established years ago. And then, but like I say, there's plenty of people in there that you can have. It's not a really big dress up thing. It's wear your lion shirts proud of where you're steady, your vest where you're from. So I mean, it's weather should be nice, knock on wood, we hope so. With the rain we've been having, but I think you're going to enjoy. And I tell you, I know there's probably over 300 first timers, which is really a good sign. And a lot of times a first timer then becomes a repeat attender. And once they find out how much fun they have there, that they'll come again.
Yeah. And I'll do just kind of a final plug to just the city of Louisville. If you are from a part of the state outside of Louisville, I feel like it gets a little bit of a bad rap. People are scared to come here because of traffic but it's a very small city compared to most big cities. And where we're going to be is a good, safe part of the city. Nice area. You're right down the road from very good restaurants. Museum Row is right down the street. You know, if you're a volunteer who's, I'll just call out Bowling Green because they're close to me. You're from Bowling Green and you just want to volunteer, you know, one day, make a trip of it. It's a 2-hour drive up 65, easy to get into. Volunteer for 6 hours, go have a really good meal at Doc Crow's that night and get on the road and you'll be home by 9 o'clock. So just easy, fun spot. We're right off the interstate, easy to get to. Parking won't be a problem with the garages that are available downtown. So just come see us.
Come see it. That's what we're looking for.
Yes. We'll
All
see
right.
y'all at the forum.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So 3 months from now, we will be at the forum. We'll give those dates again, September 5th through 7th are the forum dates, and then we could use potentially volunteers that Tuesday and Wednesday prior to the event with help set up transportation, that kind of thing. So
Yep.
thank you, Gary, and thank you, Chuck, for being on and for all of your hard work in planning this over the last 7-8 years now.
Well, thank you, Chuck, for taking the heavy lift. And thank you, Jennifer, for all you've done.
Jennifer, I do want to thank you for all getting this out, and anybody that's hearing our voices today, when they see this posted out there, we're just a click away. We're asking for help, that we need help. And like I say, this is one of the few times we're nearly not asking for financial help unless you have it you want, but this is mainly help to go in. We want you as a greeter. Just think of that. You're the greeter. As you welcome somebody new into your home or something like that's what we're doing. Smiling faces and happy dispositions is what we're looking for. And thank you, Jennifer, for helping us to get this out and post it out.
Yeah, no problem. We just want to show everyone, you know, throughout the United States, Canada, and other countries that come in, you know, some Southern hospitality from Kentucky, and, you know, that we are a little bit more than horses and bourbon, but most people can be bribed with horses and bourbon. So
That's right.
all right.
Okay.
Well, thank you all again for being on with me today. I hope everyone has enjoyed this Ask the Expert interview. And again, join us September 5th through 7th at the USA Canada Lions Leadership Forum.
And as a final note that we have, there is going to be, bring your derby hat a homemade derby hat, bring it with you. There's going to be a judging and it's worth $100 certificate. So the theme, of course, if you haven't realized it already, the theme is we're going to have there's going to be the bugler from the Churchill Downs. So I think it's a fun time. We're doing it, setting the pace. So it's, you know, Kentucky, why wouldn't we have a horse, you know, theme type of an event? You know, that's what we're there. But bring your derby hats. Also, I think they're going to be collecting, if you feel like, some food items and some stuff from the homeless. There's out there too, if you want to sit there, if that's what you're doing, you can do that also. And we'll have areas in the Louisville area that will receive these goods. And if you're signing up for the Strides Walk, if you didn't know, that goes to a diabetes program. And we're very fortunate to have our own Bluegrass Diabetes led by Pat Ryan. And they will be the beneficiary of any funds that are raised during this forum. So thank you, anybody who's made a donation and are going to go to the Strides Walk. We appreciate it.
All right. With that, we will wrap this up and hope everyone has a good evening.
All right. Thank
Good
you so
day.
much.
Good day.
Goodbye, everybody.